Greetings, Flash Adventurers. We're going to be looking quickly at how to get our character rigged and ready for animation. I've got my mannequin character here, which is sort of a generic character, and I'm using the Richard Williams reference for animating a walk cycle here. We're going to go through about 10 frames. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm actually just going to add a frame, not a keyframe, because I'm going to be adding a motion tween here. And I'm going to go frame by frame with this motion tween, and there's a reason this is necessary. So we'll go to the first frame in this first pose, and I'm going to match the heads up as I go through. So I'm going to go to the second frame there and move it over, and then the third frame, move it up, go here to the other frame, move it up, and so on and so forth. And you can see we're creating this sort of wave as it's written there. And these are, of course, adjustable as we go back. If we need to make any changes, we'll be able to do it frame by frame. The reason that I'm doing it with a motion tween is I've previously made the mistake of just keyframing it out. Well, the problem is that's an instance of the symbol, and it doesn't let any subsequent or nested timelines play through. So let's go ahead and look at this. That looks like a bob. So I'm going to start with this first pose here. Kind of look at it. The hips are tilted forward. There's a little bit of a lean. So I'm going to go ahead and try to match that if I can at this keyframe as well. I'm just trying to match it up. Then drill down, and I have to look at what I have here. I don't have 10 frames, but I do have 10 frames here in scene 1. So I'm going to want to have 10 frames down at this level as well. So I'm going to go ahead and sweep this entire set and just add a frame out there to add frame 10. But what I'm concerned with, at least at this point, is the leg pose. And this front leg, which is the left leg, is extended out down here. So I'm going to drill down. Problem is, I used to have an armature there, but I don't have one now for demonstration purposes. I need to add one. So I'm going to, with the bone system, just add a nice little armature. So I can grab a hold of that foot and pull it where it needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and use the V key, come out here, and you can see it's a little bit dodgy. You get used to it. You can see the foot there should be extended out to the ground. And we can fudge a little bit, at least at this point, on the ground point. And let's go ahead and come back up. Clean up your layers as you go. And we are in left leg. Just give it an appropriate name. There you go. And so we've got a left leg armature. And that's it. So that's our first pose for that leg. And then let's go ahead and drill down to the other leg and get that thing posed. You'll notice that we may have one problem in that these legs are probably positioned incorrectly. This leg should be shifted as forward as possible because that's where that leg would be, given the fact that that's the leg going forward. This leg's going to be shifted back here, if that's helpful. But we need an armature here as well, and in order to get it, I'm going to go ahead and here and use the bone system and extend it down. And that's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to get this leg posed appropriately with my reference image that's behind there. And clean up and our leg armature. All right, so pose 1 done. How are we going to get to pose 2? Well, if we go to scene 1 and we scrub forward and drill down, then we're in pretty good position. So now that I'm in frame 2, I'm going to go ahead and get this other leg situated. Before I do that, though, I may want to add some keyframes here, or at least some frames rather, with a motion tween, because these legs are going to be moving. So I'm going to create a motion tween here, and this hip is going to ride a little bit around here, whatever we need to do to get that position correct. And then I'm going to come here to my armature, and I'm going to have to insert 10 frames here as well, because as you notice, I'm on frame 1. Why is that? Well, First of all, let's add those frames, just F5. Go back up to Graphic Man, and then when I drill down, notice that I am now on frame 2. Very important. So I'm going to go ahead and bend this thing up, get the foot more or less where I need it to be, and we're good. Same thing for this back leg. We're going to need to make sure that all our frames at all our levels are consistent. So again, F5. Let's go back up here, go to frame 2. Then I drill down, and now I'm on frame 2 over here, which is huge, hugely important. So a little bit of a tweak here. The leg's pushing off. So we should be able to go up to Graphic Man here and get a little bit of a scrub going on. And we should be able to go to scene 1 and get a little bit of a scrub. So that's that. That is effectively the tutorial here. Let's review, and then the execution is pretty straightforward. The next pose is going to be, of course, lifting up with those legs. You can see this leg extends up, and then you get a full height here and then down. Pay attention to what your front and back legs are doing. In this tutorial, we're not going to cover arms. We're just going to cover legs. So to review, in scene 1 on my Graphic Man layer, I have an entire symbol with nested symbols in there. I have a motion tween, which is applied in order to get the motion that I want here. Looks like he's ice skating. If I drill down, we'll review again. Anytime I need the leg to move a bit, in this case it does shift back a little bit with that hip, I'm going to apply a motion tween here, remembering that I need 10 frames here, I need 10 frames here, and so on and so forth. Did not apply any keyframes here. This is a motion tween again. This is also a motion tween. And below all that is an armature created with the bone system. So we have a 3-tiered nested system here all the way down the left leg, which is really just comprised of those 3 symbols, which allow us to create the necessary motion for this pose. Of course, when we scrub down at this level, he's not going to move forward, which is why we start off with that top level motion so that we can get what we need for each pose. And that about covers it. If you have any questions, of course, ask. Hopefully this is at least a good start in getting you rigged and posed through a walk cycle. I'll make this image available either through Lore or Moodle or both. So you have your reference image. I trust you can figure out the rest. If you have questions, though, please ask. Good luck, adventurers, and happy walk cycle slaying.